Hi, welcome back to Captivating Makeup. So today we are talking about the new Makeup by Mario palette. It is an all matte palette, but instead of warm tones, we are working with cool tones. So I got this palette pretty quickly because I think Sephora is doing this like early access thing where if you order the item like early, they'll ship it to you quicker, things like that. Because I ordered this maybe a day before the actual palette like launched on Makeup by Mario's website or on the Sephora, like truly launched on the Sephora website. And they got it to me within like a couple days, which was really astounding, to be quite honest. But I was able to get this pretty quickly. And I'm really excited to play with it because it's got all these beautiful cool tones. I've been wanting like a matte palette, so all my single shimmer shadows kind of had something to play with. Not that I could not draw from other palettes, but I felt like it would just be easier to have a matte palette and then all my shimmers next to me. So we're going to try two looks today. And I'm going to be playing with some shimmers to go with it. So I'm going to do Goodness, which is the Diamond Dazzle by Moira Cosmetics, and a Super Shock shadow from Colourpop called Dream Much. It's this blue periwinkle color. Should be fun. All right. So we're going to get started. While we get started, like, subscribe, comment, whatever you can afford. And if you can't, if you don't like my videos, then I will see you on the way out. Bye. Alright, so I just peeled off the little screen so you can see the mirror and all the shades. So I think I'm going to start, let me think. I think I'm going to start with this, like, pinky brownie shade right here. No, I want to start with this gray. We're going to start with the gray first. Sorry for being indecisive, but I just want to play with all the colors, to be quite honest. Because I think there's a lot of beautiful, like, cool tones in this. Alright, so it's going on pretty well. There's like a spot on my eyelid, and I think it's because my eyelid, like part of my eyelid is wet for some reason. So it's not sticking to that part, but it is going on. So we're just kind of moving it along. It seems to be blending pretty well. I'm not having a lot of trouble blending, which is nice. Here, let me get another brush, because I think the brush I'm working with is not doing exactly what I want it to do. There we go. There we go. That's what I want. And see, we're using that nice gray shade. I think it's blending out pretty well. I'm not seeing any like real patchiness. And it's got some good pigment. I say nothing too wild at this point. We're gonna put a little bit more in that crease area. And just blend that out a little more. We're just gonna get a bigger, fluffier brush and just kind of blend out those edges a little bit. I think we're getting somewhere with this. So I have noticed that right here in this crease, the pigment is not showing up as well. So let me see if I can layer a little bit more. Okay, I think I got more in that crease area, which is what I was hoping for. Sorry if I'm not talking a lot. I'm trying to like focus a little bit and, you know, kind of get an idea of what I'm looking at. Just because I'm trying to analyze like what is going on. But yeah, I think it's doing fine. Yeah, I would say fine. I'm definitely not saying great, but I'm saying fine. It feels like a similar formula to the one I used in his Christmas palette. All right, so then we're gonna go into that pinky shade right here. This pinky brown, and I'm just gonna put that on the lid right here and kind of just put it in those like white areas, like any blank space I have. And then we're just gonna blend that out a little bit. Okay. So on this eye, I'm trying to decide if I want to use the Moira or if I want to use the Colourpop. I think I'm gonna use the Moira. So we're just gonna, I think this is gonna work like the other Diamond Dazzle, but let's try it out. Ooh, okay, yeah. So this Diamond Dazzle has a deeper base than the last one. So the last one had a clear base, while this one has a solid color base. Ooh, okay. So let's get my brush and we're just gonna pat out those edges. Make sure we're blending in. Yep, this definitely works like the other Diamond Dazzle for sure, except this one is a lot more pigmented than I would say the other one is. All right, and then we're just gonna let that dry because I am going to mess that up for sure if I don't just leave it alone for a second. Okay. We're gonna blend that out a little bit before it completely dries. There we go. And that is how the first eye is looking. I think I'm gonna put a little bit of black in this outer corner to deepen a little bit. All right, so this seems like a good black so far, but it's definitely not like super pigmented, so you can work with it a little bit and it's not gonna go out of control super fast for certain, which is good in my book, because I'm always scared with black colors because I personally feel like I need a little bit more like mobility. I need to build up the black more than I want to like have pure black like right there. All right, I think that works. And then we're gonna try to cut that edge a little bit. I'm just gonna put a tiny dot right there. And we're gonna use this. There we go. So we're just going to sharpen that a little bit. There we go. I'm gonna put a little bit of shadow on the under eye. Just smoke that out a little bit. A little bit more. So these are definitely more buildable shadows. So they put on some pigment, but they don't probably put on as much pigment in the beginning as you would expect. So kind of just prepare for that. Prepare a little bit to work the shadows a little bit and build them up a little bit. Don't just expect them to be like bam in your face right then and there. All right, so next we're gonna work with this shade right here. And this like taupey brown shade. And I'm just gonna go in how I normally would. And it's definitely liking the blend. Okay, so the brown is definitely doing what I want it to do. Well, it was. Do you see like right here in my crease area? Like for some reason the pigment is just not staying there. Maybe if I use another brush. Like we're just gonna... Okay, I think it was just my brush. Because now I'm starting to get that pigment in that crease area. I don't know, because at first I was like, oh, okay, it's working, and then it wasn't working, and now it's going into my crease, which is where I wanted it. And then we're gonna build it up a little bit more. Just make sure I got a good kind of like effect over my eye, just something a little bit more natural. Then we're gonna go into this darker brown right here. We're just gonna darken up the outer corner. This is definitely, like, if you could not tell, this is definitely a smoky palette. So if you're looking for something a little smokier, this is kind of the color story you would look for. All right, there we go. We're gonna build that just one more time. We're gonna blend so those two colors go together. And then I wanna put a little bit of this little color right here and just blend those edges out. And I'll clean up, I promise. I know some of it's kind of in on the edge there, so we will clean that up for certain. Just right now I want to get the edges a little softer up here first. And then when we do concealer, we'll clean the bottom. So now we're gonna go into the Dream Much eyeshadow from Colourpop. Jeez. Let's see if I can get the actual packaging open. There we go. All right, and it's this periwinkle blue color. Very pretty. And with a Super Shock shadow, I would recommend, I think you get better pigment, at least with the, you know, putty nature of these, is to take your finger and put it on. You can use a brush, it's just a little harder to pick up, at least in my opinion. But see, you get such a good pigmentation. Don't get me wrong, I hate that you have to use your finger. I would much rather use a brush. I mean, I can use a brush. It's just, if I want that pigmentation, this works a lot better. All right, and then to clean up any edges or where I lost pigmentation, we're gonna use a brush to kind of fill in those spots that my fat fingers can't get into. Okay, so the base to this Colourpop shadow is definitely a little clear, because I'm not getting like a super big like blue impact from it. It's almost like a sheer, like a sheen of color with some shimmer to it. So it's definitely not an impact. I would definitely not say an impactful blue shadow. I kind of expected that though, because Colourpop Super Shocks, I've always kind of thought were a little sheerer in my opinion. I mean, some I thought had like a deeper base, but for the most part, I feel like they're just kind of more of a wash of color now. I remember when Super Shock shadows first came out, and I felt like they had a ton of pigment, but I feel like nowadays I'm just not getting as much anymore, which is sad because I love Colourpop Super Shocks. I'm not getting super pigmented from Dream much, and it's even, as you can see, it's like a wash, like a watercolor, which some people may love, and that is good on them. If you do like a wash of color, this might be for you. If you're looking for a little bit more impact, the Diamond Dazzles from Moira, both are in similar price points, so it just kind of depends on what you're looking for. But I'm going to do the rest of my makeup, and I'll be right back. Alright, so here's the final look, and did nothing too special, just put on some e.l.f. blush, a little bit of contour, some highlighter, and I did try a new lip product today. I tried the Lip Softy from Tower 28 in Dulce de Leche. Comfortable so far, no gritty texture, just smells really good. It might be a little too oily for my liking, but I'm going to try it for the rest of the day, see how I like it. And if I feel like it's too oily for my lips, I may just take it off, because I just did a lip liner and a lip, like that Lip Softy. I mean, it looks really good. Like, it's super pretty. I just don't, it might be a little too like oily, and I don't like those lip balms that are like really oily on the lips. I like a little bit of a thicker one. But so far so good. We'll see how it turns out. But back to what we were originally talking about, which is the Makeup by Mario palette in all these beautiful cool tone shades. So I will say this about Makeup by Mario. I feel like they do get their tones right. I think every time their tones are fantastic. If they say they're going to be cool tone, neutral, warm tone, I feel like they do really well. I think I'm going to have to play with this more. I know I say that when I feel like something is not working the way I want it to, but I genuinely sometimes think it's my fault. Like, I want to make sure that I am doing this right, so when I do give a review, people aren't, I guess not people, I just want to make sure that I'm 100% on what I'm saying. And I think it goes on well if you work at it. I do think it's slightly patchy right here and a little bit of patchiness right there that I'm not loving about this. I feel like every time I try to blend it, it's still just not sticking to where I want it to. So I'm gonna have to play with it a little more, see if maybe it's my primer or anything else that might be impacting it, because I had such a good experience with the first makeup, well, not the first Makeup by Mario palette, but the Christmas collection, that I feel like either I'm doing something wrong or maybe this one's just not as good as the other one. Like, I mean, the looks look pretty, don't get me wrong. I just think if you looked up close, like, you can kind of see a little bit more of the, like, patchiness. So I'm going to play with it a little more, see if maybe I did something wrong, or if I'm just not using the right brushes, I'll use another set of my brushes to see how that is going. But other than that, other than, like, the slight patchiness I'm seeing, I mean, the colors are beautiful. Like, they're exactly the color you see in the pan. It's gonna show up on your face. I like that they are buildable, so they're not, like, pigmented off the bat. You do have to build them up, and I do appreciate that in a palette. Because I'm a builder, I'm not a let's have it all at once. Like, they're smooth. They do blend well. I feel like I'm seeing a little bit of patchiness, and maybe I am just being too nitpicky. Maybe I'm looking at it too hard, in my opinion. Maybe it's just a me thing. But I think, yeah. I want to try this out again because I want to love this. Like, I want to play with this and be like, this is the new palette. This is my new mattes palette. Like, I'm in love with it. But I'm in like with it right now. We'll play with it some more. We'll see if I'm still getting the same reactions or if maybe I just was not playing with it right. Because I do really want to love this palette. Like, I desperately want to love this palette. And I desperately want to tell y'all that I love this palette, but I can't say that. Like, I'm in like with it. Like, you get it? Like, I'm in like. I'm not quite in love. The Diamond Dazes, though, like, I think are stunning. Like, right here on this eye, I feel like you can see it really well. It's bold, it's glittery, it's kind of what I want when I play with a palette. Sorry, I'm just fixing up these corners right here. The Colourpop shadow is not as impactful as I would like it to be. Like you can definitely see the blue haze, but it's, like I said, it's more of a haze. It's not a bold blue, in my opinion. I do love the sparkles in it, but it is more of a demure sparkle. It is not a bold, hit you in the face sparkle. So Diamond Daze if you want a big sparkle, and Colourpop if you want like that soft sparkle. Like nothing too crazy in your eyeshadow. It does give some pigment, but it is like almost like fog, I would like to say. Well, I did say haze, but like it's like a fog of color on the lid compared to like a wall. Yeah, I think I'm going with that analogy. Like the pigment is not hitting you hard, but it is kind of like, it is seeable. So I will give you an update on the Tower 28 if I feel like it's not working for me. But other than that, I hope y'all have a wonderful day. I hope you check out some of my other reviews. Hopefully they are better than this one at least. And we will try this again. We will attempt this again. Just not today. All right. I'll see y'all later. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.